4-gauge power cable, 4-gauge ground cable, the Down for Sound MM104 4-channel amp, the DD sub. Can't wait to get this thing installed and check it out. I got some good news and I got some bad news. The good news, I am the bad news. And in this video, we're gonna unbox a subwoofer, amplifier, and a bunch of wiring and accessories from my homie Nick's 1983 Monte Carlo. So these next couple build videos are actually gonna be on Nick's Monte Carlo. He picked it up as his first car several years ago. When he got the Monte Carlo, I was like really happy for him. But let's just keep it real, that car was pretty much a bucket when he picked it up. And over the past couple years, he's been like getting it kind of fixed up, including getting a full restoration done. It's basically a brand new car. But with that being said, with that restoration wrapped up, the music became a huge weak point. His dad had hooked him up with a system a while back, but it's not the best install. It was just tuned very terribly. The dude just drilled holes in the floor to get the power wire ran. It's basically like a large hole made out of a bunch of smaller ones. And then like no grommet, no nothing. Just it was beyond time to give him something proper. And he's also a professional musician, so like you gotta have some music in there. This video is mainly gonna be just an unboxing of all the new gear that we picked up. Every product will have a link in the description in the order that we unbox it. And most of those links will be affiliate links, which means that as an affiliate, I'll receive a small commission on the sale. You'll pay the same price whether you use my link or not. But if you do use my link, you'll be supporting the channel. And that means a lot to me. So anyway, back to our regularly scheduled content. I got some goodies from Down for Sound. They're not a sponsor. They're not involved in any way. But I sure would like if they were. So if somebody had some contact at Down for Sound, holler at your boy. Anyway though, some of this is also from Amazon, and you'll be able to tell which stuff is from Amazon because it's not regular car audio components. Starting with, we have some pet sleeve, polyethyl, I don't even know what the hell it stands for, but basically it's a expandable sleeving. So you basically use this to wrap up your wires, and it just makes them look a little bit cleaner, and it also protects them a little bit. Some pure copper battery terminals. They come with heat shrink, so that's cool. And this will be so that we can connect the power and ground to power and ground. We got a couple terminal blocks. These are basically so that you can have stuff going in here, coming out here, one place to hook everything up, one place to disconnect everything, but you can still leave the amp rack mostly connected. This is like a set of like 6, and also comes with a couple jumpers and some spade terminals. Oh, it even came with a little screwdriver. Nice. Some more expandable sleeving. This one is solid red. So this one's like red and black. This will be for the ground. This one's solid red. This will be for the power wire. Next, we got a 3-to-1 heat shrink tubing kit. Basically just more heat shrink for all around the car. Install gear, fuse holders, nothing fancy. And some fuses, obviously. Then we got some Down for Sound 4-gauge power cable, in red of course. Some Down for Sound 4-gauge ground cable. Same type of cable for those that are not aware. Ground and power, same exact thing. These are just different colors. We also have some 14-gauge speaker wire in red and black, also Down for Sound. Some 14-gauge remote wire, also from Down for Sound. We got a Sundown 4-channel RCA, kind of like red and blue. And then the most important piece to this whole puzzle, at least at this stage, the Down for Sound MM104. It's a mini amp. It's about basically 100 watts per channel, 4-channel amp. So what we're doing is we're gonna install this amp. We're gonna hook it up to the speakers he has, and depending on how good those speakers sound, we might have to buy some new speakers. But if everything sounds good, we're gonna leave what he has in there. We'll be installing everything in the next video. Boom. But for now, we're just gonna prep the power and ground wires by wrapping them in the expandable sleeving. We have our expanded sleeving right here. Yeah, it gets bigger. That's how you put it on, and then when you tighten it down, it gets a little smaller. So for right now, I'm just basically gonna wrap up the power and ground lines in this and get them ready to be cut to length. I don't actually know how long they're gonna be, so I'm basically just gonna wrap them and leave them for right now. And then I'll probably throw one of these battery terminals on each end, because I know we'll need at least 4, so that'll get us going. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do is take this 4-gauge Down for Sound ground cable, and I'm gonna wrap it up in this expanded sleeve in this black and red one. But so that's how you put that stuff on. You just like kind of smash it down on itself a little bit so it gets fat, and then you can slip it on there, and then it pretty much just feed it through at that point. One thing about expanded sleeving, if you haven't used it, it will mess up your fingers. If you have like a lot of cable to do, it can make them kind of raw, you know? Boom. All right, I'm about to do the same thing, this time with the power wire. But before we do that, we're gonna run some ads real quick. Please don't hate me. And we're back. Thanks for hanging in there, appreciate it. Oh, this one's even looser. Ah, damn it. This one's loosey goose. So this one's a lot easier to put on, but it's looser. So it just kind of, how big it gets real quick. That's kind of not desirable. You don't want it to get that big, that fast, like that easily, you know what I'm saying? Because like you see that? That's what you don't want. Watch this. That's what it should look like. So you want it tight. I actually have more power wire than I have sleeves, so that's cool. Mistake on my part. All right, so I got about 5 or so feet of unwrapped wire, so hopefully I guessed right. And that 5 or so feet is just extra. So there's our power and ground wire side by side. And then pretty much the last thing that I can do without actually having the car in front of me is put a couple terminal lugs on. So what we're gonna do is now put one of these terminal lugs on there. I'm gonna cut off about that much of the shielding and then throw some heat shield on there and make it all, you know, make it all look pretty. Watch. Cut through the insulation really carefully because you obviously don't want to mess up any of the copper wire inside. Put the copper into the terminal lug and just make sure that all of the copper wire goes into it and doesn't get bunched up around the edges or something like that. For me, I use a hydraulic crimper that I picked up off Amazon a couple years ago. It's not like from any brand I heard of or anything like that. It's just I needed a crimper. That was the one I picked up and it's been working really well. This one is now not available, but I have a link in the description to ones that seem like they are pretty much the same. But full disclosure, I didn't actually try the one that the link goes to. It just looks like it's the modern day version, you know what I'm saying? And then the very last thing is to use the heat gun to lock down the heat shrink that hopefully will fit over your terminal lug, and if not, double hopefully, you just put it on ahead of time the way you're supposed to. I've been doing this for years, both professionally and recreationally, and I still forget to put heat shrink on first sometimes. And there we go. That's about what we're looking for. So he's not like a bass head. He doesn't need something crazy. He basically just needs a system that is loud, is clear, and performs well across the frequency range and looks good. His car is white, but all the accessories and stuff are red. So to go along with that, I went with the DD Audio Redline 10. One of the main reasons, DD Audio's logo is red. He wants to put it in the little shelf that's in his trunk, and that space just, it pretty much needs to be a 10. So that was how we picked the size. The color was how we picked the brand. And then just seems like a nice little subwoofer to check out. So real quick, nothing else in the box. This is a dual 2 ohm. So we're gonna bridge 2 of the channels on his MM104. It can handle 4 ohms bridge. So we got dual 2 ohms so that when they come together, the amp is gonna see 4 ohms. If you wire a sub in parallel, like red to red, black to black, it hits them at the same time. When you wire it in series, it goes through each one and then comes back. Now this isn't the technical way. This is just an easier way to think about it if you're having some troubles with it. We're gonna give it about 300 RMS and it's DD. Currently, I have a Fi in my car or a FI audio, depending on how you say it. But I had a DD18 in an old school Regal I used to have, so. Can't wait to get this thing installed and check it out. Should be dope. We'll be installing this tomorrow, but I'm not gonna release another video the day after you see this one. I mean, not too bad, right? Because that one's gonna be a little more in depth than just an unboxing. It's gonna be wiring it up and all that kind of stuff. With some terminal lugs on the ends and a fuse holder and all that kind of stuff. Something like that. The next step is to actually run everything in the car so you can cut everything down to the size that it actually needs to be. To see all that, you're gonna have to check out the next video in this series. So I'll put a link in the description for part 2 once part 2 comes out. There's also links for every product that was mentioned in the video, as well as just like, you know, social media and like some other recommended products. So go ahead and check out that stuff. In the meantime, however, I definitely recommend you check out this video from when I installed some DefBond 6.5s in the doors of the DaSlapBox. Yeah, and with that being said, that's pretty much all I got for this one. So always hear the bad news first. Skirt!